As an artist, as an art educator, working in museum settings for over 10 years, I know the importance of funding institutions that work with the community. This could be from youth all the way to seniors. Everybody needs art. I am a child that went to, after school programs in museums, and that led me here.
I don't think about being in community with other artists any differently than I think about being in community with my neighbors. I'm not a classically trained artist, and I've grown and learned so much about why I do what I do by being in community with other artists.
I would say the community at Bakehouse is so vibrant and really genuinely interested in social engagement, not just about refining our craft, but also how we meet people where they're at.
I think as an artist at Bakehouse, we all play an integral role in creating the community here. I think it's the culture of Bakehouse that makes it so special, because you can have artist studios anywhere, any place, but I think it's the role we play in each other's lives as kind of confidants or, advocates for each other, and I think it's the ways in which we show up in Skillshare.
If I weren't a part of Bakehouse, I don't know if I would be an artist. I would still make things and I would still be in community with folks, but I don't think I would have the understanding or the context of the things that I'm making, the things I'm doing, being art.
In my particular practice, it's not just digital on the computer, but I also do painting and sculptures that people could sit on for multimedia game installations. And it's been awesome to walk around and see other painters and talk about which mediums they use. It's good to feel like there's other pockets of learning.
So to find the Bakehouse, I felt like I was back in school because I was around my peers. There's such a love and kind of connection here with all the artists talking about their art with each other and kind of giving each other feedback. So I really appreciate that community. And it was also different from working at home, in my living room making art, which was also a very intimate setting, but do appreciate anywhere I'm going to make some art. But being in a community where I have eyes on my work, I get to show my work. I get to be around other artists, other curators. So that is nice about the space, is the exposure.
I've been in partnership with the Bakehouse. I was starting to be introduced to all of the amazing artists that were here. And once I learned that I was going to have the opportunity to be a summer open resident, I was like, what? I get to see these people on an everyday basis. I have 24-hour access to create. Being here in this space, that is where I learned. The art practice is not always simply creating art, it's making the connections.
I think we have been creating kind of a really nice community and family that as we get closer together, we can be kind of more honest about each other's goals and how we can help each other.
My role here at the Bakehouse has not only been an artist in residence, but also a mentor for ceramics. I generally am here to offer advice to anyone who asks. As a former educator, it's something I really enjoy, being able to share my knowledge with the community. In exchange, I've been able to employ several of the artists in residence as studio assistants. I've worked with filmmakers and photographers that were in residence. Through these public art commissions, I've managed to generate a small economy, not only within the Bakehouse, but the art community at large.
I think to be a part of a community that you interact with people who it doesn't feel like work, and it feels like, oh, we can actually hang out and relate to each other in this way, and to also kind of have that space of vulnerability to share oh, I'm going through this, how do I navigate this? There's only certain people, so I think one, having the space that we have here, but also just the community of artists has helped, I think, immensely in being able to make certain decisions, navigate certain things, or be able to just share that, yeah, because as an artist, yes, you're having all these career things, but you also have life happening to you. And I think there is a sort of gathering around each other and supporting in different ways, or, in that where it goes beyond just professional development and support to actually build relationships that last a lifetime.
I really didn't become an artist until, I would say, until I moved to Miami in 2015 and got a studio here at the Bakehouse. When I came here after grad school, I had basically nothing. I had enough money for the ticket, but that was about it. And then I got like such a cheap place. I mean, I think it was $300 at the time. And so without that, I mean, I don't think I would have stayed in Miami either.
I learned about the Summer Open program and I applied. And so when I first got to the Bakehouse and a space, I wasn't paying anything. So it was extremely affordable since it was free. And it just kind of gave me an exposure through the community to be in the space.
To have an affordable studio space here allows me to produce my work in all different capacities. I utilize a lot of different materials such as archival inkjet printmaking to then transfer onto different materials such as plexiglass, which also then has me utilizing the CNC machine and the woodworking facilities. All of my photographs are made using 35mm film, so I am in the darkroom producing these negatives a lot throughout the year.
At the San Francisco Art Institute, I asked one of my teachers, Tony Labat, who now lives here too, and I asked him, like, what do you recommend? Like, what do I have to do? You know, do I have to get a gallery or do? And he said, no, the only thing you need to do is get a studio, so you can continue with your practice. And it has been really, you know, important.
Without having everyday access to the Bakehouse facilities and having an affordable space to create work, I wouldn't be able to be a practicing artist here in Miami because it is very difficult to have any access to finding affordable studio space or facilities that would encourage artists to come back and produce projects on a long-term scope.
When I started at Bakehouse, I was making small-scale objects, and over the years, because of the affordable studio space and the subsidized space that I'm currently in, I was able to begin to invest more in my practice rather than having to rely on paying two rents, not only my residential, but a studio space, which can be very taxing on an artist.
Affordable art spaces are the core of so many different communities. There's also so much economic growth that happens when people are collaborating and in the same space.
There should be a symbiosis to the way that economics and the movement of culture works, where it's not just like getting artists to make a space cool and then like kicking them out and then figure it out on your own.
I think it took me, you know, a few hard-earned lessons to understand that art should be sustainable. You need some kind of guarantee that whoever's on the other side supporting you is open to that mindset. And I think at Bakehouse they definitely are.
I think it's just very important to have like a strong artist community, and I saw that in San Francisco when the affordable places were gone and artists were not able to afford rent anymore. You kind of decimate this ecosystem that is important to generate great art, right? Because maybe there's one artist that gets famous, but behind that one artist there's a whole community.
Around like 2011, I was at a party in the area and I saw this building and I was like, what is this building? And I stumbled inside and I saw these art studios. Prior to that, like, I always thought artists just made work at their houses. I never knew what an art studio was. And so I was just excited walking through the building. I was like, wow, this is what I want.
I think Bakehouse is really trying to provide a lot of opportunities to help artists help themselves. For example, I was recommended to take a business course downtown through Goldman Sachs, and through that program, I was able to learn more about how to align my art practice from a business point of view to try to balance not only institutional opportunities, which will help me grow as an artist, but also private commissions and other ways to generate revenue to help support my practice and the people around me.
The Wynwood Works competition was a great opportunity because I've done murals in the past, but nothing to this scale. Wynwood Works is the first affordable housing development in Wynwood. That is hopefully going to bring a lot of relief to the people that have had to leave Wynwood. For the opening of the Wynwood Works project, it was really amazing to see all the community leaders together in one room. That felt really impactful. The Winwood Works project has really opened up my sort of scope of the kind of work that I can do and what is possible.
When I first started teaching, I was not aware of having an art career. I just made art for the love. And my first year teaching at Jose de Diego Middle School across the street, we had a partnership with the Bakehouse. 2022, I was like, okay, I really want to be a professional artist. I'm going to figure out what that looks like. And the Bakehouse put out the ad for the summer open. I ended up becoming a summer fellow, and that is pretty much what led to me being an associate artist at the Bakehouse today.
Since coming here and since going through the summer open specifically, they have arranged studio visits, and I was able to be introduced to Bonnie Clearwater, and she's been an amazing mentor to me. She gave me my first museum solo show. Because of that solo show, I was also able to connect with KDR, who is the gallery that represents me now, and also gave me my first local Miami solo show. And through that, I've gained a lot of opportunities. I would say every show, every major opportunity I've had has definitely happened and been attainable because of me being at Bakehouse.
I think Bakehouse continues to also nurture us as artists at these different kind of pivotal moments within our careers, because another experience was getting to do the Cité International des Arts residency in Paris. And so it's like, when I needed to ground myself in Miami and make my practice known, I was supported. And when I needed to expand beyond that and now have this opportunity to go to Paris and kind of see a different side of my practice and what my career could be as an artist, it kind of opened new doors. And I think that's kind of like what I really love about being a part of the Bakehouse community, is that it's constantly pushing us to kind of develop and see that, yes, we do have something special that's here in Miami, but there's also beauty in expanding beyond that and sharing and coming back and exchanging these ideas.
I just completed my first summer of 4 summers at MICA in Baltimore. I'm beginning a master's, MFA in interdisciplinary art.
I think Bakehouse has a major impact in developing artists, whether you come in as an assistant or whether you come into this place as just someone who's curious, or through the summer studios. We all see the trajectory of the artists here in the community. And I think that's also the beauty of this space. It's like, it's meeting you where your practice is, but it's guiding you so much further. You know, being this year selected for the Florida Prize in Contemporary Art in Orlando, 3 of us were Bakehouse artists. And so I think in that, it's like the data shows, you know, what we're about and how kind of dedicated the artist community here is to building their practices.